Reviewing a smartphone is a relatively easy thing to do when it contains the latest tech. But how about last year's device? How does the tech from last year stack up today? I'm Glenn from Mr. 2 Tech, and this is my review of the iPhone 7 Plus.
Sometimes I make this life thing harder than it needs to be.
Let me start by saying this iPhone 7 Plus has been my daily driver since a week after it was launched, and it's still, without doubt, my favourite iPhone. From its build quality to the camera, the iPhone 7 Plus, in my mind, is the best phone that Apple have ever built. The iPhone X may have a better display and a faster processor, but in real-world usage, would you see much of a difference? I doubt it. Apps may launch a couple of hundredths of a second quicker on the 10, but if you're the kind of person that gets their panties in a bunch over that, well, I suggest you put your phone down and get out more. It was launched in September 2016 and featured Apple's new dual camera system, along with several other upgrades over the 6S and 6S Plus. The 5.5-inch IPS LCD display, which was 23% larger than the 6, 6S and 7, has a resolution of 1920 by 1080, and if you do the math, gives you 401 ppi. And whilst it may not be the brightest display on the planet, it's no slouch. You'd be hard pressed to see any single pixel, and the colour profile is damn near perfect. Battery life on the 7 Plus is stellar. I've regularly seen anywhere between 6.5 to 7.5 hours of screen on time, and getting 2 days out of it is an absolute cinch. Apple saw fit to include IP67 dust and water resistance as well, so if your pride and joy were to go take a swim, you'll be absolutely fine. The 7 and 7 Plus also saw a processor spec hike too. The A10 Fusion was the fastest and most powerful mobile processor available at the time, and it's not too bad now. The 7 Plus was endowed with 3 GB of RAM. And to put that into perspective, today, only the 12.9-inch iPad Pro has more memory in the Apple lineup. That's all we got. This iteration also saw the inclusion of a new home button. The sensor is now built into the glass and has no physical click. The newly designed Taptic engine replaces it and is able to emulate this old-style button click extremely well. So much so that after about 10 minutes using the phone, you totally forget about it. 2016 was also a brave year for Apple. They decided to get rid of the 3.5mm headphone jack, and the world went crazy. A phone without a headphone jack? Yeah, a phone without a headphone jack. Move on. A year later, and at least 50% of the competition have followed suit, despite giving Apple a hard time for that move. This iPhone also has a control panel you can actually access without breaking your wrist. You swipe up from the bottom of the screen. That's all we got. In all seriousness, the iPhone 7 Plus is still a great smartphone, capable of staying the pace with all but the very highest level devices. Apple is still selling it too, so if you're quick, you can bag yourself a bargain. Well, relatively. Direct from Apple, the iPhone 7 Plus is priced at £769, or dollars, for the 128GB model. So if you know anybody that's going to the other side of the pond, it can be purchased for the equivalent of just £574, going by today's exchange rate. Well, that is an absolute steal. Finally, the camera. The main shooter is a 12-megapixel f1.8 28mm with optical image stabilization, whilst the second is also a 12-megapixel, this one with a 56mm f2.8 telephoto. Now, at launch, the camera was shown with the new portrait mode, Apple's new shallow depth of field bokeh effect. And in all other aspects, the camera is excellent and capable of returning superb results. But yeah, portrait mode, it wasn't good. And I'll be honest, it still isn't. In fact, compared to the current crop of high-end devices, you're better off painting your subject. Yeah, it's bad. But that aside, would I recommend it? Absolutely. If you aren't swayed by the iPhone 10 and the iPhone 8 Plus just isn't your thing because of the glass back, look no further. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the iPhone 7 Plus. Hope you liked the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep up the good work. And this is Glenn from Mr. 2 Tech. And I will see you in the next video.
Don't let them go to waste. Look into my eyes.